Hi, everybody. Today, this is Roy with CMG Financial. Today, I'm here with Stacey King with Redman-Davis Insurance. How are you, Stacey?
I'm good. How are you, Roy?
I'm doing well. I hear we're going to get cold weather. Well, what we call cold weather this weekend.
Yes, and in insurance, that can be bad. All those ice dams.
Yeah, pipes freezing, things like that. Great. Well, Stacey and I met. How did we meet? We met through a mutual friend, Jennifer, who's a realtor. And Stacey has been helping my clients with insurance for probably about a year now. And everybody has been ecstatic with the service, and I have as well. Great turnaround, great service, great rates. So all of that's important. So I just wanted to sit down and ask you a few questions about insurance. Obviously, you being the expert, me being the novice, maybe you can help us out. So
Sure.
I guess overviewed question, what is homeowners insurance?
So homeowners insurance is a form of property and casualty insurance. It primarily covers your home, other structures, your contents in your home, liability. It covers you, for those what if scenarios that sometimes happens to us quickly, and you need something to protect you to put you back at where you were prior to the claim. And that can be for storm, theft, wind, are the major ones we are concerned about. But there's several other things that a policy can cover to help you out if something were to happen.
Okay, so insurance is important, obviously. I know this is probably a duh question, but why do I need homeowners insurance?
Because unfortunately, claims doesn't discriminate against anyone. It can happen at any time, whether it be a storm coming through, fire, somebody gets hurt on your property, something like that. Things that we just don't expect. That's what insurance is for, something that's sudden and accidental. And most people don't plan on sudden and accidental to happen. So they need insurance there to help them recover their loss if something like that happens.
And not write big checks, right?
Not write big checks, right.
So what are the different types of homeowners insurance policies?
So there's two major types of homeowners insurance policies. I mean, we have several ones that fall under this, such as condo, home, manufactured home, stuff like that. There's different types of homeowners policies. But the two main ones that I want to focus on is the different types, and that's your actual cash value and your replacement cost. So replacement cost is going to put you at where you were prior to the claim. So it's going to give you what it takes to replace your home. Actual cash value is the depreciated amount. So if you have a loss with an actual cash value policy, they are going to take what it would take to replace your home, and they're going to subtract out depreciated value of it. So a 20-year home is going to have a lot of depreciation. And we don't write very many of those policies. They can be less expensive, but we try to focus on replacement costs, because when something happens and you have a claim, you definitely want to be put back to where you were. And a lot of people don't realize that. They buy actual cash value sometimes thinking, well, this is a cheap policy. But when then they have a claim, they realize how cheap it was at that point.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't so cheap then at that point.
Right.
But yeah. I was going to say replacement cost is important on the mortgage side. I know sometimes we have to get an update or a replacement cost estimator from insurance companies to make sure that there's sufficient calculations, I guess, to fix the house back to the way it was. Because once you have a mortgage on there, you definitely need it. So do I have to have homeowners insurance? I buy a house. I guess if I don't have a mortgage, do I have to have it? Is it something that's required?
No, you don't have to have it. But if you have a mortgage, yes, you have to have it. I'm sorry, I misunderstood that. Yes, if you have a mortgage, you have to have insurance on it, because your mortgage company is going to want to protect their interest in the house. So if something happens, total loss, unfortunately, the mortgage can get their money back, and then you would get your portion of the money back. So to answer your question, yes, when you have a mortgage, you have to have some type of insurance.
Okay.
A lot of times mortgage companies will recommend, certainly like you recommend me, and other places will have recommendations. You have the freedom to go wherever you'd like. I do recommend using a broker, because they use about 15 different companies and can shop the best rates for the best policies. I'm a broker. I do that as well. So I do recommend doing that, so they can do the shopping for you instead of you having to go to 15 different places to try to find the best rate.
Right. Because especially I'm sure you get people that have, a wide variety of situations. Maybe they have two kids in the house and one of them had an accident or a ticket. I know there's a score or some type of system like that. So having multiple options for different programs, I think makes sense. So we know what homeowners insurance is. What does it cover? What are the different coverages?
So there's different coverages to a homeowner's policy, and that's first you're going to start with your dwelling coverage, and that's of course what it says is the dwelling itself. You have your content coverage, and that's all your belongings in the home. That's pretty much anything that the way we kind of describe that is it's anything that's not physically attached permanently to the dwelling. So that can be your furniture, your appliances, your clothes. Everything that you own is considered in that. A lot of people kind of forget how much stuff they own when they're doing their insurance policy. So you want to make sure that's a good, adequate number in case you have a total loss. You can replace your items. We have other structures on a policy. That's things that are not attached to the dwelling itself. So maybe like a detached garage or the pool or a fence, a gazebo, something like that. And then you have your liability. Your liability is if someone gets hurt on your property, and of course they want to sue you or they want to go against your insurance company to get medical reimbursement, then you can certainly use your liability for that as well.
That would never happen, would it? Somebody on my
property? No, we never have that happen. Never.
Gotcha. Now, what about my my bling that's hidden in the safe? Is that covered?
Your what? I'm sorry?
My bling, jewelry.
Oh, your jewelry. Oh, yes. So we do have to, every insurance policy is going to work a little different. So definitely you need to ask your own agent about these things. But most policies will have a small amount of jewelry coverage. We'll have a small amount of guns. A big thing now is cyber coverage to protect you from extortion and any type of internet issues that you're having with the cyber. Cyber insurance would cover that. So, but with the jewelry, I want to step back to that. You have a small amount of coverage. So women, like when you have your engagement rings, or men, their expensive watches, stuff like that. Those are things, if they're of a good amount of value, you need to schedule those with your agent and make sure they're on your policy, scheduled out, so that if something happens where it's a mysterious loss or disappearance or theft, that you're fully covered for it. And most of the times you don't have to pay a deductible for it.
So what kind of things, we know what's kind of covered, what's not covered?
So the main things that aren't covered with insurance companies that you typically hear about are flood, earthquake, and sinkhole. There are endorsements, which means things that you can add on to your policy to provide coverage for that. Some companies, not very many, will allow for a flood endorsement to give you a little bit of flood coverage. Most companies will allow for an earthquake endorsement and a sinkhole endorsement. So those are things I would recommend talking to your agent about to see if that's right for you. But they're typically excluded from a policy unless they're endorsed onto your homeowner's policy. So if you're concerned about flood, earthquake, or sinkhole, that was something I would certainly talk to your agent about.
Now in Illinois, we have basements. In Tennessee, not so much. In Illinois, I know there's water backup to, like if the sump pump dies, you've got coverage. Is that something that's offered down in Tennessee as well?
Some policies have a little bit on it, but most of the time it's not enough that would really help you, because if you're going to have a major water backup issue, it's going to typically run into thousands of dollars to help repair. So I always put about $25,000 on the policy, but they can go up to $100,000 on some of the policies I write. So I would talk to your agent about that. You definitely need it on your policy, even if you don't have a basement and a sump pump to worry about. Anything that involves sewage will not be covered on a regular homeowner's policy. It won't be considered a regular water claim if there's sewage involved. So you need that water backup endorsement on there to take care of any of those claims.
Cool. So I know insurance is not cheap. What are some tips you have to saving on insurance? What different ways I can save a little bit of money?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have several discounts that are offered for homeowners insurance. The major one that comes to mind immediately is your multi-policy discount, which most people have autos. So I would recommend getting your auto quoted the same time you get your home quoted, because typically it saves on average about 30% combining home and auto together. Other policies also can provide a discount, like an umbrella, if you have a boat, stuff like that. They can all build into that multi-policy discount. Other things would be safety discounts, such as having a deadbolt, smoke detectors, fire extinguisher, having an alarm system. Most companies will provide 2 different discounts on that, whether it's monitored or not. So even if you have an alarm system that's not monitored, you can still get a discount usually it's called a local alarm, that you can get a discount.
Gotcha. What if I have a life insurance policy with you? Does that provide a discount as well?
Yes, life insurance on most companies. Now, all companies don't offer life insurance, but several do, and they offer a pretty good discount that can sometimes pay for 2 or 3 months of a life insurance policy just by that discount.
Okay.
And life insurance is good when you're having a mortgage.
Yes,
So,
I definitely recommend to people, you got the house covered by Stacey, check on life insurance, because if something happens to one of you, God forbid, you want to have some money to cover the mortgage so one person's not stuck with half the income. So
yes, absolutely.
So we've learned a lot about insurance. How often should I check on my insurance or update, or do I even need to worry about that?
Absolutely, you should always, hopefully your agent is doing their due diligence to, at renewals, talk to you, and you have good communication with them and feel comfortable talking to them at all times. However, if for some reason you don't hear from an agent a lot, take it upon yourself. I always recommend to check your insurance, check rates. Rates change it every year depending upon claims in your area. So you could have a really good rate one year and then next year it go up. And I would definitely search with other companies, and definitely a broker like me. I'm a broker, so you don't have to go anywhere else. You just give me a call up, or I call you, and we can check all our companies and get you the best rate. Yeah,
I think that's a cool benefit, or cool feature, is Stacey will reach out to me after my first year and say, hey, let's do it. An insurance checkup, I think, is what I usually tell people. Make sure you check in once a year. You never know. If you're with a captive company, I know sometimes their rates can change dramatically in a certain geographic area because of claims, or however that fuzzy math works,
right,
as far as premiums. But you definitely want to make sure, especially if you have kids as they get older and they start driving.
Yes, those young drivers. I have one myself. She's 17.
I have two.
I know you do. But yeah, those young drivers can definitely make your auto insurance go up. So when that happens, call around and get a package quote.
Yep. So if somebody's maybe not in the market to buy a house, but they want to check on their insurance, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
They can reach me. I take a lot of calls on my cell phone at 615-715-6373, or can always email me at Stacey, Stacey, at Redman-Davis.com.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time today. It was very helpful and informative, and hopefully some people will reach out to you through this, because I can't sing your praises enough. We reach out to Stacey. It can be, unfortunately, 6:00 at night, and Stacey will respond, which is uncharacteristic for some agents. Usually over the weekend, when we've had a client that needed insurance right away, she's been able to help out. So that's what we look for. We do the same thing. If a client or an agent calls me late at night, I'm going to answer the phone. So I really appreciate all your help and your service and your time today. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roy. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.